Cowboys just days away from making their season debut against the Bucs, but they've been under the Hard Knocks spotlight for weeks now. Mike McCarthy has been scrutinized for his motivational speeches in the show, and he opened up about the biggest difference now that the cameras are no longer patrolling the team facility and told reporters, quote, "I would say it gives you a chance to be more genuine." So, Shannon, how much has Hard Knocks hurt McCarthy's credibility?
Well, considering I didn't have a high opinion of him going into his skip, it didn't do anything for me. It certainly didn't help his credibility skip because it came across as being inauthentic. I already knew he wasn't. I mean, now we see why you said that you want to give Aaron Rodgers a lot more credit. It's hard, Skip, when you have two guys that won 6 MVPs. 6. You can see why he has an outstanding record. He doesn't know what it's like not to have, in his, 13, 14 years at Green Bay, not to have an MVP-level quarterback.
Before that, he had Montana.
Yeah, so for me, Skip, look, the speeches were dry. It felt like he was saying things in front of the camera that he thought a coach should say if the cameras weren't there. So he said, you get a chance to be authentic. Just be yourself. I think that's the thing that people loved about 2001, Skip. After a while, you forget, man, I ain't finna censor myself. I would be cursing. Hey, what? You just carry on, Skip. You go about, you bleep out what you need to bleep out. Okay. Skip, we didn't do anything for the cameras that we would not have done if the cameras weren't there. And I think a lot of what Mike McCarthy tried to do was a coach would say this here, so let me do that in front of Hard Knocks. It was terrible. It came across as being terrible. Skip, it's going to get good ratings because it's the Cowboys, and it has something to do with football. But he was terrible.
Mike McCarthy took some hard knocks on Hard Knocks, and it was intriguing to me that he expressed on Friday relief that the cameras are no longer around so that he could go back to being his zero self because he didn't have to try for the cameras anymore, right? So I told you when this started, I thought that Hard Knocks was the perfect vehicle to rocket launch my team into the season. But only one member of the organization, to use your term, had a failure to launch, and it was the head coach. And I did not see this coming because I didn't know that much about the head coach, except that he did win a Super Bowl long, long ago in a galaxy far away with Aaron Rodgers. And you have now convinced me it was because of Aaron Rodgers that he won that Super Bowl. So now he's tried to boost himself with the media by reminding everybody constantly through this training camp, I coach Montana, I coach Favre, I coached Rodgers. Now I'm starting to think they coached you and they carried you.
You went along for a great ride.
Great ride. And I do believe that Mike Mack, once upon a time, was a really good coordinator in this league and a really good play call. I used to hear people raved about his play calling. Well, it's easier to call plays for Favre and Rodgers than it is for Cooper Rush, right?
Correct.
So the point is, I believe he was the classic case of the very good coordinator who suddenly got elevated for no apparent reason into being the head coach of the Green Bay Packers, Lombardi's franchise, and because he had those quarterbacks, he did get carried along for a great ride, and I give you that. But then what he did the best for them was to call their plays. Maybe they called some of their own plays. But the point was, he gets hired by Jerry to come to Dallas, and he is told upon being hired, you cannot run the offense. Kellen Moore runs the offense and calls every play. So Mike McCarthy is relegated to what? A puppet on the sideline? He's just a figurehead.
He's the head coach in title only.
And so all of a sudden, Hard Knocks requires him to give a big rah-rah speech before the first preseason game or the second one. I think it was the one at Arizona. It's game number 2. And he's trying to pump them up like it's the Super Bowl, and it's embarrassing.
Oh, this team beat us last year.
Oh, they did? It's a preseason game.
Bro, ain't nobody count that.
It's their first preseason
Yes.
game. Nobody's going to play. None of your guys are going to play. We got to go out there and kick their ass. What are you talking about? And it was all so forced and so lame and so cliched. He embarrassed himself and ultimately embarrassed the Cowboys, because you don't think of America's team having that guy giving those motivational speeches.
Right, and that's the thing, Skip. It's like if I'm the position coach, I'm the linebackers coach for the Giants, and LT is a linebacker. Skip, that ain't me.
No.
That's him.
It's him. I got it.
I mean, bruh, you got Brett Favre and you got Aaron Rodgers. Those guys got 6 MVPs between the two of them.
So,
and that's all you've known.
I know.
And you're going to take credit for that.
Well, so for his sake, I'm relieved that this is about to end.
Yeah,
Okay.
he better win some games or his career in Dallas might be ending.
Yeah.
Really, the evaluating starts Thursday in so many ways. Guys, Kawhi Leonard popped up in a Drake season, and he may be better than ever. The 44-year-old quarterback told the Tampa Bay Times, quote, "I can still throw the ball like I'm 24. He also talked about his offseason MCL surgery, removing his knee sleeve after 13 years, adding, quote, "It's good for me to feel like I can move around freely. I'm not going to turn into Michael Vick out there, but at least I'm not going to be super restricted." Shannon, do I even need to ask you how sick and tired you are of Tom Brady talking about his surgically repaired knee?
I got 10,000 nerves and Tom Brady on every last one of them. Yeah.
The GOAT?
It's always something with him, Skip. It's always something. Tom Brady would have you to believe. I would have been beat even better had I not had to wear this knee sleeve the last 13 years. Is that what Tom Brady want you to believe?
Yep.
It's utterly ridiculous. The reason why you wear the knee brace is because it gives you peace of mind that the knee is stable. That's why you had the knee brace on. Now, all of a sudden, it restricted. So I'm to believe that Michael Jordan, had he not had that sleeve on his calf, Kobe, had they not had that sleeve on their calf, Michael Jordan might have averaged like 40 points a game. He might have scored 40,000 points. That's what Tom Brady would have us to believe. It's always something. It's not good enough. I was at a different place after 20 years in one location. I come my first year here, new system, new teammates. We win the Super Bowl. That's not a good enough story for Tom Brady. Now, I had an injury that bothered me. I was wearing a knee sleeve and a brace that restricted me for 13 years, that prevented me. So now he wants you to believe that he'd have won 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 Super Bowls. Man, stop this. This is ridiculous, Skip. You need to stop this. You need to get on the phone and call him. You know people close to him. And tell him to cut this bull jive out. Nobody believes this. No, not one person believes this.
Believes what part of it?
The part that, I feel so restricted. You couldn't run to begin with before you put the brace on. Michael Vick, you were not even Peyton Manning as far as mobility. Stop. You're great, Tom. This is Tom Brady well said, without saying I'm the GOAT. I've been wearing this knee sleeve. I've been restricted.
Yep.
And I won all this. I won MVPs, I won Super Bowls, and I've been super, super restricted. Just imagine if I didn't have this on, what I could have done.
Yep.
That's his way of bragging. But it's ridiculous, utterly ridiculous.
What he is really saying between the lines here is, I have been super, super disrespected by Shannon Sharp and many of his ilk for years and years, and I'm not going to take it anymore. You're trying to deprive this man of the respect he deserves, the respect he earned last year while playing the whole season, winning a Super Bowl on a torn knee ligament. I've never heard anything quite like that before. You're also trying to deprive him of his new happiness. He is free to express his truest, deepest emotions, and that's what he did with the Tampa Times in this lengthy interview. Do you think he ever gave one of these to the Boston Globe? Nope, because that was not the Patriot way, and he would have hell to pay from his coach, Bill Belichick, if he had spoken out like this. So he's saying that it's good for me to feel like I can move around freely. It's a huge thing because you have always underestimated his pocket feet. They are ballet feet. They are some of the sweetest feet I have ever observed from a quarterback in a pocket this side of Joe Montana. And for him to have the confidence to plant on the surgically repaired knee with no brace on it is huge for his mental wellness, just for his confidence in his body and his ability to execute plays while sidestepping pass rushers simultaneously in ways that he probably could not last year.
No, this is not about last year. I'm talking about the previous 13 years because he's had that knee brace on since 2008. So let's not forget, for last year's last year. So no, from 2008 up until last year, he was restricted because he had a knee sleeve and a knee brace on. Tom Brady wants you to believe he would have done more. He would have done better because in the back of his mind, he's like, I got this knee sleeve on. I got this big old Dunjoy, this knee brace. I can't be me. Stop.
Okay. Well,
Stop.
he's saying, I'm not going to be Michael Vick. I'm not going to bolt down the field 30 or 40 yards.
He never was going to do that before he had the knee brace.
I'm not going to be super restricted, meaning I might be able to avoid 3 or 4 more sacks a year because I can sidestep in ways